Hey everybody, welcome back to Leadership Unveiled. My name is Kayla Fahey-Ahrndt. I hope you're doing well. Today is day 9 of the 12 days of leadership, and today we're going to be talking about systems. But first, I just want to say I have recorded this podcast episode, like the intro, I don't know, like 5-6 times. Like I don't feel like I'm on my game today, so y'all please give me like so much grace today. I'm not going to re-record this anymore. Like if there are any blunders, I will do my best to edit them, but for the most part, like whatever is here is what is going to be here. All right, so let's get started. Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel and hit the notification bell to make sure that you know when the next videos are coming out. And if you're on YouTube, I want to know like what has been your favorite part of the 12 days of leadership? Which day has been your favorite so far? If you're on the podcast listening, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be in your car with you today, or if you're on a flight or going for a walk or you're working out, whatever you're doing. Hello, I'm so glad to be with you. If you are on Spotify, you should be able to see this video, which is pretty cool. As well as on Spotify, there's a question box that says like, how was this episode? You can leave your comments right there and I will see them, which is really cool. So check that out if you listen on Spotify. All right, so let's dive into systems. Yesterday, I talked about habits and leader standard work. And just a recap, leader standard work is a tool that we can all use in our work to track the activities we do daily, weekly, and monthly, and make sure that those are the right things that we should be doing, tracking whether we're able to get them done or not. Really do like a self-reflection on our performance. It's basically a way to lead and manage yourself. And really, leader standard work ends up being a habit tracker of some sorts. So why do we create habits? Like, why do we want to have good habits? Why do we want to get rid of bad habits? Well, it's often because we have goals, right? So in our professional world, in our lives, and other areas of our life, we want to have goals, right? Because we want to accomplish certain things. And so then therefore we're like, okay, if we want to hit X, then we have to have XYZ habit in order to get us there. There's so many different schools of thoughts. I talk a lot about goals on this channel because if you work in any corporate environment or almost every leadership or any work environment, you're going to be evaluated on your performance to your goals. So you have to set them, like there's no getting around it. However, there's also schools of thought out there that say goals are dumb and that you should set a direction instead, like make sure you're going the right way. So actually, I have it on my bookshelf right here, this book, Illogical by Emmanuel Acho. He actually has an entire chapter that's called Goals Are Dumb. And he talks about this whole theory. And I agree with that because I think that sometimes we set our goals too low and then we hit them and then we're like, all right, good, we're done. Or we set our goals too high and it's discouraging and we walk away from those goals. There's got to be a sweet spot, right? And so the thing with setting goals is a lot of people will be like, okay, I won't be happy until I attain this goal. Right? So the whole time they're going through their life, they're like working towards something, but they're never going to reach their goal. And so they're not happy. They're waiting. They're like, okay, until I get this thing done or until I achieve this status level, I can't be happy. And that's sad. Like that really, really, really sucks. And then it ends up where you just beat yourself up every single day because you're not where you want to be. So habits and goals are great, but they have limits. You really want to make sure you have a system. So that's why we're talking about system. So I heard from, I don't know if this was in the book Essentialism or just somebody who was talking about it, but the goals are for people who have an end game to reach. Like goals are the end game, right? And habits help us get to that end game. However, habits do something else which is really powerful. Habits help us stay in the game. Systems help us stay in the game, right? Because life, when you're in work, let's say you're in a leadership position or you're in a professional role, you have to show up even if you meet your goal, right? Like you don't get to meet your goal like 2 months into the year and then be like, okay, well, I'm just going to not work anymore, right? You have to keep going. And so when we talk about burnout and people just like driving themselves into the ground with their careers, working for 1 or 2 years and then quitting their jobs and starting their own business, it's like that's a wonderful thing to do. And that's not for everybody. If you start your own business, you will also still have to work, right? And so how do you stay in the game in a healthy way and be able to make that choice? Like, okay, I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to quit my job because not because I'm burnt out, but because I see that there's something else for me, right? Or Or I'm going to stay in this job because I can be here every day. I can show up every day. This is sustainable. It's all about your systems. The book Essentialism by Greg McKeown, I think I listened to it it was probably 2020. I want to say it was 2020 because I remember listening to it when I was doing yard work around our cabin. We were there a lot during COVID. And maybe I had listened to it the year before and then listened to it again in 2020. There's this story I want to tell you. So Greg tells a story of him. He had a baby. His wife had a baby. He was at the hospital. For his work, they called him and said, hey, you got to meet with this client today. It's so important. You have to be at this meeting. And he's like, dude, I just had a baby. And he's like, it's fine. It's just going to be a few hours. Like, come meet this client, whatever. So he cares so much about his work that he leaves his child and his wife in the hospital and goes and has this client meeting. And he's so upset during and afterwards because they literally did not close any deals. There was nothing super important discussed. It was a conversation that could have happened without him. And so he starts out this book telling the story that I was a slave to my work, essentially thinking that was more important than my family, and I missed the first hours of my child's life to go to this silly meeting where I wasn't needed. And so that he uses to demonstrate essentialism, really thinking about, okay, this is my wake-up call. What is essential to me? What is most important to me? And then how do I change my life so I really focus on being an essentialist? So an essentialist is somebody who actually, it's not that they just only do one thing. They see all their choices in front of them and they make decisions. They're like, yes, no, yes, no. They're very decisive and they're like, this is most important. This drives everything that I do. Non-essentialists are people that are have their hand in everything and say yes to everything, right? So you can imagine, if you know me or if you've been listening to my podcast for a while, I listened to this book, I'm like, oh God, I'm not an essentialist. That's a bad thing. And it's not that you have to be super, super hardcore, but I think you just have to have an essentialist mindset at times where you're like, okay, what is most important? Let's drill down on that. So when I talk about leader standard work and forming habits, I'm talking about visually seeing everything that you do so that you can evaluate it. Is this still important and is it aligned and does it make sense? And essentially what you're doing is creating a system to help you weed out the things that are not essential so you can be productive in a healthy, balanced way. So leader standard work helps you decide and see what is essential. This is true for any type of system that you might set up for yourself. Let's just say you have a very messy room. Let's just say you have a very messy room. You find yourself cleaning it over and over and over. The goal is to have a clean room. So if you don't make any behavior change, you'll just clean your room over and over and you'll just have the goal for it to be clean, and it will be clean once you're done cleaning it, but it will get dirty again. But what if you had a system set in place where you had a habit and you changed your behavior, that instead of not putting things away where they belong after use, you did start changing your behavior and you did start actively trying to change that behavior and create a new habit to put stuff away where they belong so that your room doesn't get messy or as messy. So it's not that you have to wait till your room is clean to be happy. Let's just say, as an example, you can be happy and have a clean room all the time or consistently if you change your behavior, right? So that's kind of what we're talking about for work or work habits or leader standard work, is that it's not that we have to work super hard all of the time and we have to wait to be happy until we meet a goal. It's that we can be happy and satisfied right now, literally right now, anytime you have your system running. So if I'm using leader standard work and I'm consistently evaluating how I'm doing and I'm in pursuit of continuous improvement every single day consistently, then I can be happy even if I haven't reached my goal because I'm enjoying the system. There's this cliche, quote that says something about the journey is more important than where you're going. That's true. This is what that is about. So identify what is most essential. And the other piece of this that I think is really interesting is essentialism talks about spending time for you and investing in yourself. And what I've seen in leaders that I've worked with and professionals that I worked with is because they're in that system of, I shouldn't say system because that's what we're talking about today, because they're, or not even the word habit. What am I trying to say? Because their mindset is that they're basically only setting goals and waiting till they are perfect and have like totally mastered something to be happy. They're not investing in themselves because they're basically stuck in this like, basically like, I just can't do it. Like it doesn't work. It's not working for me. I'm not good enough, or I'm not happy. I just have to keep banging my head against this desk. Like this isn't working. Instead, what you want to do is choose you, invest in you, whether that's learning, professional development. Maybe that's identifying like just a couple things in your daily routine that make you happy every morning, right? So whether it's like washing your face and putting on your favorite moisturizer, or maybe it's like literally journaling for a little bit, or making a cup of coffee or hot cocoa and just like sitting by the window and looking out, or maybe it's like on your drive to work, you listen to personal development, or maybe it's that, like for me, for example, I talk about my dance class yesterday. Like that's so important for me to fit that into my day. So what makes you happy, and what can you do to take care of yourself? Because when we are in that like spiraling down negative mindset, we can only see that we're not hitting or achieving that goal. We're not able to realize that that journey, the small things we do every day, the system is what's going to make us happy rather than that end goal. But when we are toggled up, as Cy Wakeman likes to say, and we are really aspirational and we are not working super hard, but we're just working smarter within our system, we can say like, this is sustainable. Like I'm staying in the game. I have a habit of staying in the game consistently instead of a habit of burning out because I'm falling short of my goals. So think about systems in your life that could help you simplify your work and actually work smarter, not work harder. So maybe the first thing you think about is like, what is something that I want to improve for my work? Maybe it is that consistency. Maybe it's that home thing that trickles into your life, like cleanliness, right? Like when I have an organized closet, my morning goes a lot better because I can find my clothes and I can get out the door, right? So things like that. Think about areas that you want to focus on in 2023 and create good habits around, and therefore systems around, so that you can be happy right now in the journey. And let me know in the comments or DM me on Instagram at KFA Consulting or at Leadership Unveiled, like what are some of those things you're looking to improve in 2023? And now I'm inspired, like maybe we need to run a challenge in the new year. Like how do we set these systems up so we can be happy today and be essentialists and make time for us and make time to figure out how do we create these systems so we can be happy right now. All right, let me know what you think in the comments or message me on Instagram. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed this talk on systems and habits versus goals. So I will catch you tomorrow for day 10 of the 12 days of leadership. Oh, almost done. It's going to be sad when we finish. So, and I feel like I'm forming a habit of recording in the evening because that's when it works for me right now, which is super funny because I had this block that I couldn't record this late and it's been working out. So who knows, maybe 12 days of recording straight, because I definitely didn't batch work this, is working out to my favor. We'll see. I'm enjoying every day. All right, y'all, I will talk to you tomorrow. See you. Bye-bye.